We're gonna do one more team and then go to the break. And that team from the Emerald City, the team that Heath Kelts grew up with.
No, I went.
Was there 4 years with it?
Yeah, well, I was a season ticket holder with the Seahawks when I went out there for graduate school, but and became a Seahawk fan. I used to watch Cortez Kennedy. It was awesome.
Yes, Brian Blades.
Both the Blades brothers.
Chris Warren.
Chris Warren.
Google it. Google free. Google it.
Rick Myrer was the quarterback. That was the problem. It was a big
and they
problem.
could have had Bledsoe.
Oh my goodness. So, who was the leading rusher last year for the Seattle Seahawks? Riddle me this.
Jim Zorn.
Justin Forsett.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I had him on my team, but he never. I wanted Julius Jones to step up, and he stepped in some stuff.
Well, Julius Jones was the 40th running back last year. Justin Forsett was the 34th running back, and he didn't get off until week 10.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, so now Forsett's the best back on your roster. You would think Pete Carroll comes in. We want open competition at all the positions. We want to be able to let the best guy play. All those cliches. He's actually doing that right now, and even doing that with a quarterback. Every single position is open, and the best guys will play. That's what he's saying. So they really like Jones in camp right now. Justin Forsett missed the mini camp because he got married last week. Congratulations, Justin. You and your wife. I'm glad you're having a good time. Come back and get your running back job back, okay? Because they like Julius Jones. Figure it out, Justin. Right? Because we're rooting for you. We like you.
Mm-hmm.
I like him.
Okay.
He's, I want to keep him on my fantasy team. So what did they do during the draft? They say, well, we're concerned about Justin's size. We're going to get Leon Washington from the Jets, and we're going to get Lendell White. Now, Lendell White a couple weeks ago was let go, and we later find out that he's facing a 4-game suspension for marijuana use. Do the Bengals want him today? Maybe they do. There's rumors that Marshawn Lynch might go to Seattle. Do they want to give up a 3rd-round pick for him? They say no right now. If that comes down to a 4th-round pick or a 5th-round pick during the preseason, that deal might go on. So they're trying not to let Justin Forsett, be the guy. And so what's the real story here? Now they're talking about this other guy, fullback Quentin Ganther, that he might take goal line carries. So what does it say to you, committee?
Yeah.
Committee approach.
And it tells me that Pete Carroll has to do 1 year of mad scientist experimenting, which is going to cost a lot of fantasy owners missing some big weeks because you're going to sit somebody on Seattle that's going to blow up, and you're going to be like, what is he doing? Because
it smacks of like Shanahanism. It really does, and I'm not really sure what to do about it except to say, I like Justin Forsett as a 33rd running back overall, and maybe for 167 fantasy points, you can get him in the 7th or 8th round, and that's decent value.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the number to call again is 877-242-8212. We are on chataboutit.com. Download the podcast because the information is invaluable. If you want to succeed in your league, you need to listen to us. We are going to take a short break, and when we come back, the highly vaunted running game of the St. Louis Rams is what we're going to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to 32 Teams on chataboutit.com. We will see you in a minute or two. And we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, you have to become a fan of ours on Facebook. 32 Teams on Facebook. We're getting comments all the time. This one from Barry Champagne. Love the show. Been listening for the last few weeks. You guys know your stuff. Keep up the good work. I know I'm going to win my league because I'm listening to you. And thanks for taking my call last week about Ryan Matthews.
Nice.
Very.
Barry from San Diego. Nice.
Look at that. That's amazing. Amazing. So, speaking of amazing, I do like the dreads on our man in St. Louis.
Steven Jackson, he's a 2,000-yard rusher. Back in 2006, the last time he played for a decent team, he had 2,334 yards from scrimmage. The 6th most in NFL history. Did you know that? That's a little fact I dug up. Unfortunately for him, he hasn't played for a good team since.
Yes. Ouch.
Everyone knows he's the best player on the team, so what happens? They all gang up on him. They all put a target on his back and they say, we're going to stop him because he's the only guy worth stopping. So this is the difficulty, and not only that, he's the only back we're stopping. And yes, that's the same back that he had the herniated disc surgery on over the offseason. So I have him as my number 7 running back. If you have the 7th pick in your league, he says he's healthy. He's like, I'm healthy. I feel great. I'm awesome. Are you going to give it up for Steven Jackson? He's a 2,000-yard rusher now. It's hard to pass up on a guy with that kind of ceiling, but he's on a team that's tough. Now you have to watch these guys. They've got a better quarterback now. Even the rookie is better than what they had last year, but who is he going to throw the football to? Can Donnie Avery stay healthy? We'll cover that in the wide receiver show. But what does the rest of the team look like for the running backs? What happens if he does get injured? What happens if he does get overused? Ken Darby's the guy to get if you are looking to back up, handcuff Steven Jackson to somebody. He's going to get the carries. They drafted Chris Ogbanaya from Texas, and he's going to be a good back for them. I think they're going to use him on a third down thing. He's not we'll see how they're going to use him in the preseason. I think he's going to be a third down guy.
I say it's almost valuable to take him in the 7th round, just looking at their beginning schedule and end schedule.
No, number 7 overall.
Yeah. I don't mind it because I'm looking at the schedule. And it's
okay,
not,
talk to us about it.
It's the first game, Arizona at St. Louis, St. Louis at Oakland, Washington at St. Louis. There's hay to be made there. It's not bad. Look, they St. Louis at New Orleans. I'm talking about getting blown out and still having to do something. The only problem is if they get blown out, are they going to run the ball?
They stop running the football.
Right.
I mean, he does have some, he catches the football too. He had 50 receptions last year for 314 yards, but he didn't catch any touchdowns with that. So, that kind of brings it down. But his fantasy playoffs at New Orleans, Kansas City, San Francisco, not bad.
There's something there.
They're not expected to do well this year, but they could make some hay. It's not terrible.
All right, let's move on. But that was pertinent information. Speaking of pertinent, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Google this, Google free. One of my favorite running backs of all time is James Wilder, way back in the day.
Yeah, I don't know where you got that guy from.
Unbelievable running back. They had Jimmy Giles, great tight end. Anyway, let's talk about the running back situation in Tampa Bay.
Well, last season it was supposed to be, here comes Derek Ward from the Giants, and there was so many injury questions about Cadillac Williams, and also with Ernest Graham, there was a confusion about who was going to be the starting running back. And so I remember these guys getting taken in like the 8th, 9th, 10th round, and none of them were value. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, somebody got, I think it was in the 12th round, just took a flyer on Cadillac Williams. What did the guy do? He finishes with 144 fantasy points last year and plays a 16-game season for the first time in his career. How do you see that coming? Now he's the unquestioned number 1, Cadillac Williams. Good for him. I really do feel good about that.
Finally, too, because he was drafted so high so many times. And
the organization wants him to succeed.
Yeah.
Derek Ward, I think they want to use him to spell him. They definitely want to get him involved more, obviously. I think he wasn't healthy last year. And so, you could get Derek Ward probably very cheap in the 15th round, I would say.
Yeah.
And he might be your guy to take the flyer on this year that Cadillac was last year, because Cadillac now is going to cost you anywhere from a 6th to an 8th rounder.
Yep.
Then there's, Ernest Graham is listed at fullback, but would be the number 3 running back on this team, and he would carry the load if something were to happen to one of these guys, and he showed he could do it before. I love the fantasy playoffs for the Bucs at Washington,
yes.
Detroit, and Seattle at home. Boy,
bang, bang.
It's worth paying attention to the Tampa Bay Bucs in the preseason to find out which one of these guys is going to help you win your championship that nobody knows about. Hello, Jerome Harrison.
Yes,
right?
And that's why we're looking for our Tampa Bay correspondent on Facebook to get us the nitty-gritty.